have two choices, and you got to vote for a winner. Therefore, even if you don't like both parties, you go to the polls and you vote for the least worst. The least worst is no longer good enough for the American people. And that's why the Nader Gonzalez campaign, based on years of fighting for the people, of accomplishing so many things. And Matt Gonzalez, in his tender age of 43, was almost elected the Green Mayor, first Green Mayor of San Francisco. He was elected president of the city council at age 36 or so, and he's a leading civil rights lawyer in San Francisco. We are putting forth an opportunity to break the grip, the yoke of the two-party elected dictatorship through rigged elections, gerrymandered elections, stolen votes, no debates, electoral college idiocies, where you can come in first in the popular vote and you don't win the election. What other democracy allows such an absurd conclusion? For this, we need fire in our belly. We know a lot more than we're acting on. What I've told you is not news to you. I may have aggregated it for you, given you an example. It's not news to you. It's on TV once in a while. It's in the newspapers, all the deprivation, injustice. You can read about it. I mean, we could always have more reported, but why don't we start working on what is already reported to us? You can start with 60 Minutes. It's Your Money on ABC. Fire in the belly is what drove Rosa Parks to say she wasn't going to go to the end of the bus. Fire in the belly is what drove those GM workers in Flint, Michigan in the 30s to have their sit-down strike, to form their union. And they put their entire livelihood of their families on the line. No unemployment compensation, no welfare in those days. Fire in the belly are the women who fought for the right to vote and were doused with dirty hot water from the second floors of houses when they marched through the streets or arrested in front of the White House. Fire in the belly when those people took on the slave owners and the cotton plantations in Mississippi and Virginia in the 1830s and 40s. Think of that moral courage. Why do we make excuses for ourselves? Why do we rationalize our own futility? And as long as we do that, we don't need someone pounding on our door in a police uniform at 4 a.m. Because we've done it to ourselves. We've rendered ourselves powerless by our own hand, by our own lack of self-respect in terms of what we can do for our children and grandchildren. What are we going to say to that 9-year-old grandchild sitting on your knee? What are you going to say? When that child comes to awareness, you know how they come to sudden awareness, they're so idealistic and curious, and they realize parts of the world are falling apart. 3 billion people working on, trying to live on $2 a day. What are you going to say when they ask you, what were you doing back then, granddaddy, grandma, when all this was falling apart? And they look at you, and they look at you, unblinking, but, you know, hopefully. What are you going to say to them? That you were preoccupied, updating your profile on Facebook? Your predecessor students fought for civil rights. They fought to get us out of Vietnam. They marched. They were bloodied. They were jailed. They fought to put environment on the map with the first Earth Day in the spring of 1970, with 1,500 events at universities such as this, making the cover of Time and Newsweek and the lead on the evening news. It's your time and your generation to put your arm to the wheel of justice. That's one of the reasons we have this campaign. It's not just to get as many votes as possible to send a message to Washington. It's not just to try to break the grip of the two parties. It's not just to lend support to all those citizen groups you pay $25, $50 to, like the Sierra Club, ACLU, Common Cause, Public Citizen, prison reform groups, migrant labor groups, civil rights groups. The more votes we get, the stronger they're going to get in Washington after the election. It's because we need you. We need your idealism. We need your energy. We need your impertinent questions. We need you to bust the paradigm. We need you to stop the slide into the abyss in so many ways, in this country and abroad. We need you. You have to realize that. You have to stop trivializing your talents when you get out of school and sell them for trivial pursuits, even though they may be very well paid. Yep. We need you. And in that context, before we have a discussion, I want to bring up a young man